Are we in a constitutional crisis? That's your question. Almost. And I don't think we are going to get there. Okay. You know, Dunghole Donald Trump, with all his bravado and craziness and this facade and act that this show, he's a showboat. That's what he is. Fringe neck, billy neck, replicant, 34 count felon, 34. Put 34 on his forehead, please. And we got more crimes to his name coming, because every day he seeks to go against the Constitution of the United States, controvert the Constitution of the United States. And when you do that, you are breaking the law, the supreme law of the land, and you become our direct enemy. He knows when to quit. He knows. He's careful enough. Okay. If and when we should be in a constitutional crisis, I think one of three things can happen. We're in a dictatorship. That means clown Trump, him, and his hillbillies, his orangutans that vote for him, that cause this January 6th chaos in a few while back. This is 2025 April. No, this is May 2025. Then we're in a dictatorship. Me and every thinking person will be in deep trouble, because he's going to chop us to pieces. Okay. Number two is he just takes it to the limit and then comes back to the normal United States. An epiphany, something strikes him and tells him, oh, you going to go to jail, homie. If you should fail, that's quite a tall order for you, homie. Then he backs off. We go back to the normal United States that we know and understand. Okay? The world understands and everybody knows. This is how the United States was designed to be, not a dictatorship. No kings, and nobody is born a king in the United States. That's why we're here. Many of us, really. We like that part about the United, because we don't like these stupid kingdoms down there in Africa. We believe they should come to an end. This is the modern times. Only the democratic process will do. That's why many of us are here in the United States. The third option is that clown is too legit to quit. And then the hillbillies, the ignorant people who voted for him, somewhere, somehow, all of them send a text message to one another like, dude, he didn't lost his mind right there. We're not going with it. We're going to the United States. And they come back to the Constitution of the people who voted for him decide on the United States and be together with the U.S. The people who voted for him. And then he strikes out by himself, him and his family, and Ivanka and Eric and Byron and Melania and the people, he family. Okay? That means he decapitates his head from the body. That's what was about to happen in South Africa with Jacob Zuma. That he was not coming down when the institution, the organization that appointed him was telling him to come down. He was refusing to be withdrawn from the office of president. He was too legit. He thought he was the king of the Zulu people instead of the Republic of South Africa. He had his passions all messed up, and he was about to decapitate himself from the rest of the Republic of South Africa. Because the African National Congress can just say he's no longer president as far as we're concerned. We're going to forward another president. That means he's out on his own. Like I a homeless child, sorry for the metaphor, what would you do? Your parents don't want you. What would you do? Your home doesn't want you. What would you do? You're stuck out on your own. You have nothing now. All the presidential thingies and contortions and arrangements and trappings are withdrawn. You don't have presidential security anymore. What you gonna do? That's what was about to happen to Jacob Zuma in South Africa. That's the third thing that could happen. Okay, now maybe there is the fourth and fifth, is the country descends into civil strife. First is a riot, civil strife, and God forbid, civil war. Okay. I don't like to imagine that. I don't like to imagine that, because that's nothing to take lightly. Okay. That's nothing to take lightly at any point in time, whether in rhetoric or in intellectual process or intellectual, dialogue. And the country could spiral into total, in other words, the necks and normal people just don't, yeah. We book a one-way ticket, as we would say in Jamaica. Point of no return. Okay. Let me tell you something. Don't ever pronounce war. War is the most defiling, insulting, vulgar, no words can explain. Okay. You don't want to be caught up in one. Okay. Anyway, that's what could happen. Okay. Now, what could catalyze a civil strife and civil war? I'm hesitant to say civil war, because the federal government is so powerful that it can repress, oppress, suppress a civil war when it gets to become a civil strife. They had, you don't want to test that. Okay. All right. But it could happen. In other words, the military itself, the armed forces in America themselves could start participating. It's nothing to take lightly. I hope I've said that enough. So, what are the things that can initiate, excite, provoke, catalyze a civil strife, let alone the unthinkable, civil war? God forbid, in your country, in any country. I'm talking about internally, not external pressure. Bad economy makes people very angry. Scarcity in resources. We are running out of natural resources, of course, because of climate change. Global warming, climate disaster upon us, climate apocalypse, climate Armageddon soon come, constitutional crisis, a president or executive that does not know when to quit, strikes out on its own, leaving the Constitution behind. The constitutional courts, the highest courts in your country, Supreme Court in your country, decides the opinions based on the opinions of the minority, be it religious or be it racial or otherwise. Because of politics, of course. Politics. And decides those opinions should be opinions that the majority should follow. Could be the military that conducts perhaps a coup d'etat. So those are the things where it could be number 5 and number 6 and number 7. But those are the things that I can think of immediately.